again, Jeep, Toyotas with the 4Runner and the Bronco, they're all just super overpriced. But that's because they're off-road centric. They have to have more factory upgrades to be marketed as true off-roaders. And there's such a demand for them. People will pay for the Bronco badge, the Jeep Heritage, and the Toyota 4Runner reliability. Hey guys, it's Dave with POV Drives. So just to let you guys know, I had some issue recording the audio on this video, so I'm going to be doing a voiceover in this initial part. Hope you guys still enjoy the video. Hey guys, today we're taking a look at a 2023 Ford Bronco. This is the Outer Banks trim with the Sasquatch package. This is the competitor to the Jeep Wrangler. So do a walk around, talk about it, take it for a drive, and give you my impressions on this car. I'm very excited to compare this to the Jeep, as this is the modern competitor to the Wrangler that we all deserve. So, starting with the outside, we have the soft top, blacked out fenders, we have the Sasquatch package, which includes a lift, some locking rear and front differentials, as well as 17-inch wheels with 33-inch off-road tires. We have this lovely paint, big fan of it, looks pretty sharp with the blacked out pieces, as well as some running boards and the signature style headlights on the Bronco, as well as these steel bumpers. Coming to the back, we have this swing out tailgate door. It's not super easy to open this top portion with the soft top, but if you go up under here, see these two latches, you can open up the soft top. Not very easy to do so, so kind of a misstep. Maybe I'm missing something, but anyways. There's a good amount of storage though, but it's a pretty high loading floor, and there's far distance from your legs, lifting something across and over these steel bumpers. Opening up the fuel door, this takes regular fuel. And hopping into the back seat, we have this awesome two-tone gray and blue leather seat that you've noticed. And hopping up into the seat, ingress isn't too tall getting up into the vehicle with these running boards, but the soft top kind of blocks some of the entrance, so you just got to be careful. But once you get inside, lots of rear legroom, loads of headroom. Taking a look at the amenities, no rear vents like the Jeep, but we do get a center arm rest cup holder. Looking at the front, the interior is super modern yet practical compared to a Wrangler. We also have the Luxe package, which you can see includes this leather two-tone seats, larger center screen, premium audio, and adaptive cruise. Now taking a look at the engine bay, have a nice 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder making about 300 horsepower. Made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission and selectable 2- or 4-wheel drive. Taking a look at the front seats, one thing the Wrangler doesn't have, except in the new 2024 refresh, is power seats. We get leather steering wheel, leather seats, which are super nice, and we get a Bronco embossed into the front seats. Two cup holders, nice gear selector that is a little bit low quality feeling, 360 reverse camera. We also get physical climate controls, very nice to see. Heated front seats, heated steering wheel, volume and track forward and back controls. And the infotainment screen is the larger screen. It's very nice quality, very high resolution and refresh rate. You shrink Apple CarPlay and bring up some cards over here, like your fuel economy, trip, navigation. I guess you want two maps with the native navigation. And you can put some off-road information over there too, but I like to keep it full screen. Your locking differential controls, trail turn assist, traction control, and your hazards. Soft top, we'll talk more about down the road. Lots of rattles, lots of wind noise. I don't know if it's Ford or just a soft top, or yes, all the above. We get this digital gauge cluster with a physical speedometer. I don't really know why that's a physical speedometer. Should be a physical tach. Oh well. Lots of different views to scroll through, fuel economy, trip, all the good stuff you'd want in my view. But then you can also go into some other views that give you a little bit more information. Like you can go to, let's see, audio, and then you can show what you're playing. So pretty snappy, pretty responsive displays, good clarity. Driver position, I can get pretty comfortable. I do feel like I'm sitting on top of the car. Body on frame SUV, of course you are. Lighting controls over here. Mirror controls and your window switches in the center. And you got your selectable four-wheel drive and your GOAT modes. We're going to start off in normal, but you get Eco Sport, Snow and Sand, Slippery, and Sand, Slippery, and Snow. And other than that, I do like how this dashboard is designed. It's very well integrated. It's very modern for an off-road vehicle where the doors are supposed to come off. There are a lot of cheap materials for $65,000, but this is an off-road vehicle, and again, that's just kind of part of the game. All right, let's get this on the road. Talk about the drive. First, we'll demonstrate all start-stop. Let's turn everything off. Pretty seamless, pretty smooth on startup as well. Now, while everything's warming up, we'll talk about this powertrain. This 2-liter, 300 horsepower, pretty good displacement and pretty good torque. Has a good sound. It's got a nice little rumble. I think Ford does a good job with their 4-cylinder turbocharged engines to make them sound a little bit gruff, or a little bit muscular for what they are. I think the powertrain, for the base powertrain, is very good. You can get a 2.7-liter turbocharged V6, and then I think a 3-liter turbocharged V6 in the Bronco Raptor. It's cresting over 90 grand though, so, but you know, that's just a whole nother level of crazy. Ride quality. Now, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We get, unlike the Jeep, which has a solid front and rear axle, which is great for off-roading, we get an independent front suspension and a solid rear axle. Now, a lot of people would say you need front and rear solid axles, but because it's body on frame, it's pretty easy to, swap that out. But what you do get is not so much a ride quality improvement, but going into corners, you just feel a little bit more loading up on the front end, and you're able to apply power in the rear, and it feels, more like, I guess, a traditional truck, but more like a normal vehicle. And that is definitely a pro. The dynamics are predictable. The steering is nicely weighted. I'm a big fan of that. It's much more predictable and a little bit more dynamic, which I think that is definitely an advantage over the Jeep. But ooh, I think it's these Bilstein dampers in the Sasquatch package. I am torn because they do make this vehicle look proper, but I think they definitely affect the ride quality. So I think probably would just be good to stick with the standard suspension and ride height. These mud terrain tires definitely make a lot of noise on the road, but soon they will be overpowered by the wind noise of the soft top. The soft top, you can hear rattles back there. You can hear all the wind noise you'd ever want. The benefit is, though, that if you live in a not Pennsylvania climate, you can take the top down a lot and really enjoy the weather, and it kind of gets rid of those rattles. Yeah, definitely a much more predictable balance in this chassis with that front independent suspension. And I wouldn't say this ride is necessarily firm, but you just feel a little bit more travel up into your booty. And I was a little shocked because I thought this would ride way different than the Jeep, but I didn't think it rode any better or worse. Dynamically, it is definitely better. And while we switch into sport mode, I'll quickly talk about visibility. Visibility is good. Plenty of visibility in my blind spots and around and over the hood. You get a nice big blind spot though with this A-pillar and these big mirrors. That 2.3 liter gets up and goes. Once the boost hits, there's a nice surge of torque, a little bit of turbo lag, and as the transmission warms up, it's a little bit more responsive, but you really have to get into it to kind of let it do its magic. No paddle shifters though. You do have a manual mode and like these kind of buttons to downshift through your bicycle gears. Not the most responsive, but it's not really the mission of the Bronco to be a sporty vehicle, so we'll pop it back down into normal. It does switch you into 4 automatic, or 4-wheel drive automatic. Now that everything's warmed up, we can go to the power distribution, and when we take our performance turn, we can see where the power goes. Right now it's going to the rear. We do get a very intuitive drive mode selector wheel, and I do like that it's, I know some Ford products where you twist the dial, the animation goes the opposite direction, and I do like the, animations that you do get. It's a little gimmicky, but it's, cool. Adds to your $60,000 value of this off-road body-on-frame SUV. Makes it more modern, makes it feel like a more interesting product. So while we're stopped here, let me give my thoughts first. Jeep. 2 things. This is definitely more of a dynamically refined vehicle, but I think the Jeeps are there's just something more charming about them. The lack of refinement, and just that they're a little bit unpredictable, a little bit, you don't know if you're gonna hit a corner and it's gonna roll, or the weight's gonna go to the front and stuff. I enjoyed driving the Jeep more than this Bronco, and I do like the look of the Jeep more. This looks like a modern off-roader, and Ford definitely did a good job. But really, the differences between these two is that with the Jeep, it's a little bit of an outdated chassis. They have refreshed it. They've given a much more modern infotainment screen. They've given side airbags and some other features to make it more daily livable. And the Jeep, there is currently a plug-in hybrid available, as well as a 392 6.4 liter V8. So there are definitely some more crazy American options, but also a fuel-efficient option. Here we just get, the 10-speed or the 7-speed manual, mated to the 4-cylinder or the 2 V6s. The Jeep also has a manual with its base V6. So really, the capabilities are pretty similar. When you equip a Rubicon or like a Wild Track with the Bronco and a Rubicon in the Jeep, they have all the things: locking front and rear differentials, disconnecting sway bars, the lift, skid plates, anything you need to be off-road capable. I'm sure the aftermarket for Jeep through the older model generations is much larger. Modern Jeeps are not the most reliable, but modern Fords are kind of hit or miss too, especially with these Broncos. On the highway though, sitting at 65 miles an hour, lots of wind noise, lots of road noise. It Does seem pretty well buttoned up in here though, aside from the creaks and rattles you get from the soft top. We do have lane keeping assist and adaptive cruise control, which is adaptive cruise is part of the Luxe package as well, which includes, you know, the upgraded screen, the upgraded stereo, the Bang & Olufsen up there. Adaptive cruise control works pretty well. Lane centering is not a lane, or it's a lane keeping, it's not a lane centering. It does prompt you to put your hand back on the wheel. It's nice to see these systems in here. I personally like lane following more than adaptive cruise control. So overall, to sum up my impressions of this Ford Bronco, I think for somebody who wants a modern off-roader, it's super sharp looking. It handles decently well. It's pretty fuel efficient. Over this trip, or this time with it, right now we're down to 15 mpg, so it's actually not too great for a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Oh well. I think it's a more modern approach to the off-road formula, and I think personally the Jeep is just a little bit more charming. So if you're willing to put up with some reliability and that Jeep brand, I would say go for the Jeep. But this Bronco isn't a bad choice either. That's just my personal preference. Personally, I was excited to drive the Bronco because I know they have a manual option and it's a pretty practical car. But after living with it, yeah, maybe I would probably get one without the Sasquatch package and the hardtop. But I just didn't really do it for me. And Jeep, Toyotas with the 4Runner and the Bronco, they're all just super overpriced. But that's because they're off-road centric. They have to have more factory upgrades to be marketed as true off-roaders. And there's such a demand for them. People will pay for the Bronco badge, the Jeep Heritage, and the Toyota 4Runner reliability. So it's really a pick your poison battle, but you couldn't go wrong with any of them. And this is not really my cup of tea. So with that being said, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Please give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. This is Dave from POV Drives.